Welcome to the Playful Lens. In this episode, we talk to the lovely Tina, who's also known on Instagram as Teacher of Dotes. Tina talks us through playtime in her classroom. Her practice is exemplary. And if you haven't listened to the previous episode, Dr. Jacqueline Fallon talks us through what play is like in our new curriculum. And Tina's practice just brings this to life. So we hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Playful Lens, where we are joined by the brilliant Tina from Teacher of Dotes. So, Tina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for inviting me on, and best of luck with this podcast. I'm so delighted that you have created this space for educators and for parents and anybody who's interested in play in the early years, because what a time it is for play in the early years. So, as I guess you can guess from my accent, I am a primary school teacher in Donegal in a Jesh rural school. I have junior and senior infants, so it's multi-grade. I'm very lucky to be in the school where I am because my principal and my board of management, my parents, colleagues, all buy in to my vision of how play should be in the early years. And I know from talking to other teachers that that isn't a privilege that everybody has. I am the infant department because I am the only infant teacher in the school. So I've been the infant teacher for 11 years now. So yeah, so I most days don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I just, as the film says, just keep swimming, and I just know in my heart of heart, as long as the children are playing, engaged, and happy and safe, then I'm doing okay, and that's basically who I am.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tina. So we'll get straight into it. What does play mean to you?
Well, I guess for me, play is how children learn. But play for me right now, personally, it's a release. It's an expression. It's a way to express who you are. I mean, I was thinking about this last few days, and I was thinking, what does play mean for me? For me, I don't know. I guess you could describe my personality as giddy, or I don't know, a little bit hyper. I don't know what I am, but I am what I am. But like for me, I'm constantly acting the whack. I'm constantly like sending um silly memes and messages to my friends to make them laugh because it's a break from reality. It's a purpose for getting up every day and getting out and, making every day meaningful. Bringing that back to the children. It's there. It's theirs. I have no idea what it's like to be 5 years old in 2025. I have no idea. It's many, many years since I was 5 years old, and it was a very different world I was in. So for me, play has to be child-led. It has to be, yes, I am there in my role as the educator and as the learned person who is guiding them along their way and providing the scaffolding and ensuring that they're safe, but also ensuring that, that there is learning happening as well. But for me, play is a way for the children to feel safe in their environment. They learn about new experiences. I mean, they go to play school for 2 years, or Nina or whatever you want to call it, for 2 years. Even in the early years from their babies, like it's how they make sense of their world. And then they go into these settings and, like for me, it's a case of, right, a child had a wobbly tooth. So I'll pick up a book about the dentist, because when you think about it, that first wobbly tooth is terrifying. I'm just using this example because it happened this week. That feeling that your teeth are moving, like, do you actually really think about what that was? Like, why is my tooth moving? Like, and for a child, that could be really scary. And like, there are so many picture books, and there's so many, chances then for me as a teacher to guide that child, set up a dentist, or, just even talk about, the teeth, our teeth, and how the adult teeth are going to science lesson. There are so many paths that I can take on that. But the child has guided me, and then I can be like, we can work together and figure out how to playfully understand what's going on in this child's life. So sorry, that was very long-winded and very wild response, but I guess for me, it's an expression. It's a way to express who you are, and it's a way to make sense of a very, not challenging, but a very unscripted world.
Yeah, it is an unscripted world, and what you said about it about play being how we express ourselves. It reminds me of, how Dr. Stuart Brown says, like, how we play is as unique as our fingerprints. Like,
That's
it's
it.
just me. Nobody's going to play. You can give us all the same resources, and we're going to play differently. And I feel like we spend so much time telling children, just be yourself. Be yourself.
Exactly.
But when do we
Exactly.
give them the opportunity to get to discover all that
Yeah.
uniqueness, that unique creativity, that unique way of seeing the world? It's through play. And I loved what you said as well about the dentist and the wobblies. That's so meaningful because it's what they're interested in.
It is. It's where I am this week. Next week I'll be somewhere else. But it's where you are in that day. And I guess, as teachers we plan. My gosh, we plan to plan to plan. It's what we do. We like control, we like order. Because unfortunately, and here's my INTO hat now, we have the highest people teacher ratio in Europe, one of the highest people teacher ratios. It doesn't look like it's coming down anytime soon. Yes, it'll slowly come down, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be. Like I was even thinking about it, like I have 26 children in my classroom, and I didn't see another adult in my classroom today for 1 hour and 50 minutes. I was on my own with those children, and I just thought, gosh, like, and I have to plan my day in such a way that those children are safe. Because
Yes.
unfortunately, we don't have the personnel, we don't have the ratios, we just don't have the people. And you want the children to play and explore, but it also has to be safe. So I get that there are loads of challenges there that's, it's having an impact on how the children are playing. But for me, like I'm in my comfort zone. I'm comfortable with, like I'm happy for them to get out of their seats. But not everybody has that privilege, and it's just it's very it is very difficult. But going back to the point, teachers plan. We do that because it's safe, because it is our job when the children come into us that we send them home in the same condition ish as they left. So ish, maybe a bit smarter, maybe a bit, I don't know. But like, that is, it's kind of the crux of the matter. But it's like, being able to let go of that, hand the control back over to the children, trusting them that in their play, that they will still learn, that they will still mature, that they will evolve, that they will become the incredible beings that they are, even that they are incredible exactly as they are, but you do just want to keep, you know, pulling them along this educational journey. Like is very hard to let go of trying to have them sitting down, controlled, because it's just the system that we are in. But
Yeah,
there are ways which I hope we're going to discuss.
yeah, that's brilliant.
And that's definitely a challenge that I would hear a lot, is that loss of control and that lack of being in charge. Isn't that definitely one of the challenges that comes out from teachers? I would hear that an awful lot regarding the senior classes. They'll lose the run of themselves, and they don't. Like I often find teachers are asking, well, how do you get the boundaries and how do you, but I find that playfulness and that playful learning, it is your classroom management. And it's just so vital and it builds all those relationships. Losing control is a good thing, isn't it?
And it's kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, like when I think of my own journey with Ashter back in the day when it
Mm-hmm.
was Ashter, it was initially play areas or play stations. And it was like, you're playing with the Play-Doh and you're going to make, and you're playing with the Lego and you're going to make the three houses. And I was okay with that. And then I had a rota, so I was still okay with that. So like, it was like a gradual release of
Yeah.
control for me. And the more I learned about play and the more I began to trust the children, eventually being able to step back completely, and it's their time. That's how children learn to be in control of themselves. That's where autonomy comes from, and
Yeah.
independence, when
Yeah.
we step back. So it's just reassuring to know that it, it's okay to not feel like, okay, off you go in free play. It's okay to just say, okay, I'll get a rota going at the start, so then at least I can hand over some control and then support ourselves in it.
Absolutely. I mean, like when Asher came out originally in 2009, we had very little understanding then. We were still, the 99 curriculum, we were still being trained on the 99 curriculum more or less. And everything was all very new. And, I think for us that Asher 2009, the play rotas and the stations and all that, that was our transitional period. That was that, what you call that gradual release. Like it was, we needed that. We needed, like, before you learn to ride a bicycle, there's stabilizers. That format of play was our stabilizers. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 42 and you're learning to ride a bike, you still need those stabilizers. So like even if now you're starting off and you're doing play and you have no idea where to start, it's a starting point. Do you
It
know?
is.
It's
Yeah.
it's not like Joan Kiley would always say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like she always used to say that in all her lectures. And it's so true. Like, there was merit in that because especially like I came from sixth class down to junior infants. And I found that transition very, very difficult. And for me, like those play rotas and the timetable, they definitely helped me become the teacher that I am. It was actually in early years, there's the early years teachers, they were doing an after school in the school. It was them it was both those ladies that would say to me, "Gosh, is that how you do play?" I'd be like, well,
They were very polite.
yeah, how do you do play? And I'm like, oh gosh, it's not at all like that. Like, we were both doing, she was like, oh, we're doing space as well. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was showing her all my stations and she was like, and her nose crinkled up. I actually teach her son, but like, she's a good friend of mine. But she was like, oh gosh, we don't approach it like that at all. And I think that's the more I started to look into it. And I think, the more that we, listened to what the early years teachers and educators were saying to us, the better the understanding. And that has to come with time. 2009, 2025, we have to keep learning and keep improving, keep evolving. And like even those children in 2009 were not the children that we have in 2025. It keeps changing and we have to stay up with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's brilliant. Thanks so much, Tina. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that you have the ears of all of the parents, all of the teachers, all of the school leaders, even the inspectors are listening to you. What would you want everyone to know about play or playful learning or playfulness? What do you really want people to hear?
I really want them to hear that every child has a right to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been since 1989. And I was that 5-year-old, 6-year-old in 1989. And it was a very different place back then. But to value play, it is so worthwhile. Going back to that point about, the big classes that we have, for me, sometimes it is like, go on ahead, you can play with whatever you want. And they're like, whatever we want. And for me, sometimes I need that 20 minutes of, yeah, I just need you all to be happy and engaged and safe. And I need time to collect myself. And so it's not just the children who are getting the value out of it. It's also me as a human being. Like I have parents saying to me, how do you do it? That is how I do it. That's exactly how I do it. That is my cup of coffee when I can't go and make a cup of coffee. That is my, like those pauses in the day where I'm like, go on because we've established what's safe, what's not safe, where they can play, where they can't play, for different reasons why children are so curious. Well, why can't I have that? And I'd be like, yeah, that's a very good point. Why can't you have that? And we'll talk it out and, it'll be like, okay. And then if we figure out a reason why they can, then they can go ahead and have it. And it's not a break from the learning because play is learning, but there's so much value in play. It costs nothing. You might think you need so many resources and you might need this elaborate fancy plan and have it woven in so smartly. You don't. You really, really don't. You need 2 ears is what you need to listen to what the children are interested in. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you
That's all
need.
anybody needs.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Because play can be a story, it can be a song, it can be, play is, it settles you. It's the leveler. It's the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, and it settles all of us.
It does, yeah.
So, do you panic, Tina, when they're
Oh, so-
playing? That they panic. I used to panic. Do you panic? So you're saying all you really need is 2 ears and giving them space. Do you ever feel though, like, but are they not benefiting from this type of play? Or is this not purposeful? Or do you worry that your resources aren't challenging enough or for them? Do you ever feel like
yeah, I
how
used
do you
to.
trust the play?
I used to. Yeah, I definitely used to. But then I started giving them over some control. And not even started giving over control. I guess it's just kind of the ethos I have in my room. But like this week we were learning all about myself and I was telling them I went for a walk and we found conkers and I just had them in my pocket. I just literally had them in my pocket and I was like, oh, I found conkers. And then it would naturally change then to about autumn. The next day a child brings in a book about the oak tree and we just kind of started going from there. So when the children bring in their own stuff, it's just so much more interesting. And I'm like, yeah, you can bring your own stuff. Absolutely, you can. And you can take that out and we'll read that story, or you can, within reason, of course.
Yeah.
Nobody's bringing in their Barbie dream house or their, not like, but mommy teacher said, but it, within reason. But like children will be engaged because they will. Like, I notice, like, after they go home and I'll be like, clearing up and down on my hands and knees, whatever, and I'll find a Lego house that has been stuffed in the back of a shelf for fear that I would find it and dismantle it, and for fear that another child might come and take that red crystal at the top that is the whatever, those fancy pieces of the Lego. Because and again, it was the preschool teacher who said to me, do you make them break it down every day? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, why? And I was like, because that's just what we do. And she was like, but they put so much work into it and effort into that. Why do you make them? And I was like, that is such a good point. So it's like, when they're engaged like that, like children will play with anything. And that is very evident, not even just children, right? So like animals play, like puppies play, baby goats play. Have you ever seen those videos? They're so cute. It's just in us to play. Children in war-torn areas where there's, they have nothing will play. They will find something and they will play. My biggest critic was myself. I used to think, if the teacher next door, the SNA, walks in now and sees me and is going to be like, or the principal or the kid, whoever walks in is going to think, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people have walked into my room and I haven't even heard them coming in because we are so engaged. And I look up and I'm like, it is what it is. We're in our own wee universe over here. Like, you knew when you stepped into my classroom that it was going to be, this is how it's going to be. And I stopped caring what other people think. And I started really like focusing, are the children engaged? Are they happy? Are they safe? Are they fighting? What are they fighting about? Is it a good fight? Are they going to learn how to resolve conflict through this fight? Or do I need to step in? Okay, do I need to get a second baby doll because this is the second day and they're fighting over that single baby doll? Or, it's, you learn so much about the children and you learn so much about what's going on in their lives. I've had to ring a couple of parents this week over different things, and I've had this natural conversation with them because I've observed the children in play. Nothing to do with academics. It was to do with their wee personalities and, wee friendships and, things going on at home, like a new baby or, different things happen. And I have discovered all this. We don't have a homeschool liaison teacher in our school, like we're Jess Rural don't have that. I'm just going to get that in there. It's bugbear of mine. So we don't have that connection. We don't have that connection with our parents, but I have that connection through play.
Yeah.
And they can connect with me because we're playing,
and like you've said so much there, Tina.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
you've said
I'm
No, it's
passionate.
amazing.
I just want to recap because you've made so many brilliant points. You've said that once they're engaged, they're learning, you're
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
bothered about resources or anything like that.
Yeah.
You spoke about how you're in the zone with them.
Yeah.
You're in your own world. Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yes.
Talk about
It's shared.
relationship.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
amazing.
It's not my classroom, it's our classroom. It can't be
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
classroom. It can't be like, no, I do tell them that the toys belong to my children just so they don't break them. I do threaten them with the, well, if Ellie gets in and see that broken, they're never going to give you their toy. I do that, but they are their toys. So it's their learning tools. It's very much their space.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said, I loved the point you made as well about, the little conflicts and the parents.
Yes.
And I remember with my junior infants ringing parents and nearly reassuring them, yeah, they're not getting along, but that's okay. I'm aware of it. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Let's let them figure this out
100%.
because they will figure it out. So parents don't need to take it on.
But if we
No.
keep jumping in, they'll
Yeah.
never figure it out.
Yeah.
So if we keep jumping in to fix the conflict and, we'll never get those skills, which are lifelong skills. So we have to allow that space.
Absolutely. And then sometimes the parent will get half a story. So that's why I sometimes feel like I'm the missing link. I'm in this privileged position where I am front row seat for these conversations and, these experiences their children are having. And I can fill in the blanks and be like, if Tina comes home tonight and tells you about blah, 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 this is what I observed, but I am aware of it and I'm watching it. And if anything else comes up, you just pick up the phone and you just call me and we'll figure this out together because we are the village.
Yeah,
We are very much
the village. 100%
You know,
are the village.
we're on the same
But
team.
just, Tina, to go back to something that you said there. So you were talking about, the natural progression of the children's interests. So it started off being about yourself, and then it went into autumn, and then somebody brought in a book. And, one of the questions that I always get is, yeah, but what about your plan and your monthly plan? Like, what if the principal comes in and asks, that's not in my plan? Like, how do you reassure other educators that it's okay to follow those interests, even if they're not in that plan you've got written down? Like some of the best lessons I have taught have been complete tangents and have not been on my plan. They're in my plan afterwards. I retro plan. And, I do put them in maybe in the reflection or something, but that kind of reassurance for other educators that that is okay and that that's beneficial. What reassurance would you give other teachers?
I would quote Dr. Patrick O'Sullivan from the NCCA on this, because he has said before about, having the pristine plans for the inspector when they come in that are in a folder, and they're absolutely beautiful. And then the scrawl of paper on the desk with the handwritten notes and the annotations, and the value in what is actually happening. Your plan is a plan. Like, I knew 2 weeks ago we'd be doing my Fane, myself, and all, and I know, I have a deep knowledge of the infant curriculum. So I know how to tie all those subjects together and integrate them. I know how to do that. And I know we're starting out in maths, so we're starting number 1, number 6 in senior infant. I know where we are, where we're supposed to be, but I also have a pen and I can X out what we didn't do, and I can jot in what we did do. And it doesn't have to be, this is the beauty of the new plans, it doesn't have to be completely scripted. You can leave things off. You couldn't possibly write down every learning opportunity that happens in 2 weeks or a month, never mind an hour. An hour passes, and like, we've got these huge big classes and they're learning so much, and you couldn't possibly document absolutely everything. Document what's of value to you and to the children, and to, for what is the purpose of your plans. Plan of the plan. It never goes to plan. So, you have to get that out of your head. It never will, especially in infants. It's okay to either put a line through something or exit and say, this did not work. This was a terrible idea, Tina. Don't ever put this down in your plans again. But plans are for me. They're for me. And if an inspector has a question about them, I have a voice. I'll say, well, this is what I thought. This is what I stand over. If you want me to do something different, that's fine. I'll take that on board. But if that's, I have to do that the next time. They're going to find fault with you, and that's all right. That's okay. So my plans are for me, and my principal has seen them and she's happy with them because I have to submit them to her. And I have said to her in the past, if there's something in there you don't like, I'll change it. And if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for me, because that's who I submit them to. And if somebody comes to her and says they're not good enough, she'll come to me and I'll say, that's all right. That's okay. I'll change it.
Tina, and what ties in so beautifully with what you were saying at the start, that play is like this release valve at the moment, because there's so many challenges in our education system. We could talk about them all day and all night, but I'm going to choose to focus instead on, we have this amazing tool at our disposal, which gives us a breather, which we need very often. It gives
Sing
the children a breather.
high.
Yeah, it gives the children a time so we can really connect with them. Because when we're really stressed and overwhelmed and busy, we're not actually available to connect with them. They know it and we know it. So we can really connect with them when they play, and we're all a bit more regulated. And as well, it's kind of, my shoulders dropped when you talked about those plans, because it's permission that they're going to be fluid and they're going to change, and permission to follow the children's lead, because their ideas, they're such brilliant ideas, and it's taken a weight off.
Yeah.
It's taken, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
you said you're in a very lucky position, Tina, that your school community, your board management, your principal, they're all very on board with playful learning and play. But for schools that maybe aren't, and for teachers who want to be but feel they may not have that support, it is that professional dialogue, isn't it? It's being able to say, well, the reasons I'm doing X, Y, and Z in the classroom, the reasons I'm following the children's lead. I always say that it just takes one person in our school community to be able to bring that playfulness. And if you have those professional dialogues with somebody and say, look, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it, and they might go, oh, I'm going to try that. Or it may alleviate that fear of the plans not being perfect, or, the plan not going to plan. I remember doing this is how long I'm teaching, and doing my dip years and years and years ago. And I was in the front classroom in the school with the car park, and this amazing lesson was happening, but it wasn't on the plan. And I spent the entire time looking out the window, hoping that the inspector didn't drive in, because this I just wanted this lesson to keep going. But I think now, and look, this comes with, practice and experience and
Yeah.
age, of being
And
able to play.
personality of the inspector coming as well plays a part.
Yes,
It
yeah,
does matter.
it does. Yeah, it does. But I think, reassuring people that it's okay for things not to go to plan. I'm going to take that saying, Tina. I love it. Your
Yeah.
plan may not go to
Well,
plan. You're right. I don't
I
know
do,
my plan. I've got a plan.
I do have a terrible phrase that I seem to use a lot, and I say, "Well, sure, nobody will die. It's fine. Nobody will die. Nobody died."
Yeah.
And I say it far too much in a day, and I say it to people of all ages, my own class. I say, "Well, sure, look, nobody died. It's fine. No, and nobody will die
Yeah.
if you." That's the reality, like. But like, I do think, like you said, like those professional conversations, like invite the parents in, invite them into your classroom and be like, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it. And the support is there. It's in the primary curriculum framework. It is written there in black and white. And it's like, this is why it's in the primary language curriculum. It's in the primary maths curriculum. It will be in the rest of the curriculum as it comes out through playful learning opportunities. It's there. So it is getting a bit easier to get that message out. Invite the principal in, invite that teacher invite that parent in who's suggesting all you do is play with Play-Doh down there. And I've had that. I've had, people I used to say like complain, but now maybe I don't know, maybe it's not a complaint, maybe it was a praise that their child came home and all they did all day was play. I'm like, my friend was like,
Yeah.
my friend was like, I don't think that was the tone. I don't think that was the tone of the phone call. And I'm like, but it's so good. That's so good. But it's like, I believe it. I stand over it and my gut, it's right. The children are happy and they're safe. I mean, it's not, and like for me, as I said, I am the infant department. I don't have to I don't have to align my plans with 3 other junior infant teachers. I'm not in competition with anybody. It's very easy for me to sit here and say all this because I do have a lot of privilege where I am. I know not everybody has that, but it starts with a conversation. And that's how it started for me. It started with a conversation back in 2014 when I started teaching infants. I came from years and years of fifth class, and I was like, I'm actually going to try this. But going back to like, I know you're talking about, the older years, like, and I think on it, I did try and bring in that playful learning into the older years as well. Like, remember like countdown? Remember that came countdown? Like that's how we introduced nearly every maths lesson or like we threw up the letters and we were constantly like using playing cards. It was always there. We just didn't call it play. And I guarantee you, if you're a teacher, listen to this now, or even if you're a parent and you went to school, you think back, you think, yeah, we were playing games, and we were, we were doing that all along, but we just didn't shine a torch on it. It's there, but now we're just like we've just, it's become huge. It's become like this buzzword not to be afraid of, but just to be supportive.
And I think as well, sometimes the language can be misleading or off-putting, play in 6th class. Sure, you can't be playing with 6th class, but we forget that they're children and even adults like to play. So I think this, as you say, the buzzword of play, it's becoming much more natural now. And when you look at our lives, we all have hobbies, we all do different things, and that's play for us, isn't it? As you said to me, it's that break and it's that release to go to football or to go to tennis or whatever it is that you like to do. So I think it is there, and it's that acceptance of it is really good at the moment, that we are saying that we do it and it's okay to do it and it's good to do it.
I think even all the neuroscience of the last couple of years has really anchored it. Like when you hear Gabor Mate say play is far more important for healthy brain development than academic instruction, it's like we need to pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah,
it is.
It's natural. It's natural. Reading and writing isn't natural.
No,
it's not. Like it's hard. It's hard for a reason. No child has ever struggled with play. They may have struggled with relationships.
Yeah,
but like or they may have struggled with elements of it. But no child is ever going to be getting grinds for play. I hope.
No.
Not in my lifetime. Oh my gosh. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so, and I don't mean that. Like I mean that it's natural. It's accessible. It's inclusive. It's for everyone. And like what you said there, like George Bernard Shaw's great quote, and I wrote it down in case I misquoted. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. And I just think, it's so true. Like I teach infants because I need to play, I am like, I'm far too old to be playing, but I love it. I love the crack. I love the fun. I love the giggles. I love the lightheartedness. I wouldn't be a teacher if I couldn't play. That's who I am. I'm not there for the academics. I definitely not. My past teachers would agree with that. But I but it's, it's, I love what I do. And like,
Yeah.
not many people get to say that. And it is because you are sitting in that front row when those children, when those connections are made and they have those aha moments and you're like,
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
this is amazing. It could be something really tiny, but you're like, this
Yeah.
is, this is so cool. And you get that through play. You get that. Child cutting will get frustrated if they have to cut something because you've given them a page of lines to cut. But
Yeah.
a child who has to cut something off because they're making something and it's important to them, they'll have no problem cutting, in my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
when
they'll
it's
work through the
Yeah.
frustration to
Yeah.
get where
Yeah.
it's
Because it's
worked.
meaningful.
Yeah.
Cutting that page that you've just given them, what meaning is it behind it for the child? We know the meaning
Yeah.
behind it because it's in the
And,
book.
and I do that. I'm not bashing. I give those pages. Because they need to learn how to cut. But I'm just saying
They
it's
do.
easier.
Yeah.
It's easier for the child to learn to cut when they're playing. It's just, it reinforces. Sorry, I don't mean that to be misconstrued because I do give those pages with the lines for them to learn how to hold scissors and all that because we
Yeah.
do have to model it too.
Yeah.
Like, where it's
Because
just less for.
there is room for explicit teaching, and there is, like you say, they have to learn how to cut. But
Yeah.
when they're doing it in their play, it's meaningful because they want to do it, and the meaning is in their head, and the meaning they know what they're doing. Whereas we have the meaning when we give those pages.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
motivated.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
motivation. It is. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tina, thanks so much. That was really enjoyable and really
Inspiring conversation.
Thank you, ladies. You've been really bringing it in here too.
So before we let you go, we do have
Yes.
some rapid fire questions for you.
Yes.
Okay, so are you ready? The first
Yes.
question
Yes.
is, what was your favorite thing to play with as a child?
We're going to laugh. Bed sheets on a clothesline. It was. We used to make a
Dead or
theatre.
ten?
Yeah, I remember. It was actually, we used to make a theatre. There was like this clothesline in the spare room, and we used to make a theatre, and we put on like Goldilocks and three. I have two brothers. My gosh, it traumatized me.
Gorgeous.
Sorry, I have five brothers, but I have two brothers my age. The rest of them were all much older, and I have a sister. But yeah, we used to make like a theatre out of bed sheets, and we used to like put on like Red Riding, and we used to make whoever was there sit and watch us.
If you had a stick to play with, what would the stick become?
Microphone every time. I would be channeling my inner Tay, whoever.
On that stage, would you?
The older children in school would be like, "Do you have to sing everything?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do," just to annoy them.
So you can bring in your microphone in with you.
Yeah, that could be my microphone.
Okay, and what is a playful habit that you've never grown out of?
Back from the maggot, just like
well put.
dad jokes, stupid jokes, really, really bad sense of humor. Just
Yeah, I like that as well. I'd
yeah,
say it's only
really
a matter of
corny.
time before I'm kicked out of the WhatsApp group with my husband and my brother and my sister-in-law for all the dad jokes. Silly me, as I said.
Yeah,
There's just this kind of tumbleweed silence where they all go, gotcha.
Yeah, my 9-year-old's starting to get really embarrassed by me. She's like, "Oh, mom," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll read
You
it
know
up."
you're doing your job right, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, right, yeah, so that's, you know what I mean. It's mom jokes now.
Mom
They're called
jokes.
dad
Yeah.
jokes.
Mom
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Millennial
Um,
jokes.
exactly, yeah. So who nurtured or nurtures your playfulness?
My mom.
Either currently or, oh, your mum.
My
How does
mom.
she do that?
She's 76 years old. She's 7 children. She has 7 children. She has 19 grandchildren, and she just constantly. She's also sending the bad jokes, and she's always, doing just funny things and just, not taking life seriously. And yeah, she's an inspiration. She is an inspiration, but yeah, she's hilarious. Yeah, she's very funny, and yeah, I just I think she really has inspired because she always just made things fun. Growing up, like we wouldn't eat our dinners. She would make them into like a volcano with the gravy, the mashed potato. She just always found ways to make it fun, and I think that just And my dad too, he's great crack too, like but yeah, but like he was always working, so mum was always there. Like mum was always just
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely.
my
And
mammy.
last question then is, what is a small joy that you look forward to each day?
Laughing,
Can't beat it.
laughing.
Medicine.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
laughing. Just you don't laugh, you'll cry, and
Exactly.
yeah, and like every day, like Chico's throws all kinds of things at you. But I mean, I've said it before, like working with young children is a privilege. But play for me doesn't stop in my classroom. Like anybody who knows me, it's like I can be serious. I can be very, very serious too, like sometimes. But yeah, for me, it's always just the lighter side, laughter, and just enjoying life and
Yeah.
celebrating all the good stuff.
Yeah, you're so right. And you said at the start of our conversation that, your personality is giddy and hyper. It's just playful and you're so
Yeah.
infectious, Tina. And you're just such a lovely vibe and
Thank you.
so, inspiring. And your personality is just infectious. It's gorgeous.
Well, thank you. It's very easy to talk to you two ladies. My
Oh,
gosh,
thank
it's
you
such
so
a
much.
pleasure.
We're so glad that you said yes to chatting to us.
Well, it's been fantastic, and just keep doing what you're doing, ladies, because there's such a space there for this, for these conversations to be had. And, I think as long as people know that there's no wrong way to do it, I guess is the main thing.
You cannot get this wrong.
It's child's play.
Perfect.
It literally is. It really is. So like just go out and play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks so much.
Tina, thanks a million.
Tina, thank you so much for sharing that expertise with us. We hope that everyone enjoyed that episode. And if you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe for notifications to when our new episodes are launched. And don't forget to share it far and wide with your colleagues and friends.